Hey folks, it's time to do 2020 predictions for Cy Young Award, MVP, Rookie of the Year, and World Series champions. Okay, hope you're all doing well. This is Jason. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. If you like good baseball content and just stuff that's from a baseball fan to for baseball fans, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy the video, please hit the thumbs up and hit that notification because I've got a boatload of great videos coming out for you. Okay, with that, I want to go over my 2020 predictions for this 60-game season in 2020. It's going to be an unusual season, and I think power is going to be play a prominent factor. And one of the reasons I say that is not only with the lineup and the pitching and the bullpen, but because fatigue factor. And I said this in a couple other videos. With a 60-game season, the fatigue factor is not as prominent, in my opinion, as the 162-game season, where guys are wearing down towards the end of the season, and you need to take advantage of that 40-man expanded roster so that guys can rest and then hopefully get into the playoffs. Now, when guys are starting to really ramp up and start to mash the ball and go on a roll with pitching, that's when the season's going to be ending and going into the playoffs. So I have a feeling there's going to be some really good momentum going into the playoffs, and or I think power is going to play a big factor. And keep in mind, teams like Chicago White Sox, they loaded up this offseason. So did the Cincinnati Reds. Okay, Minnesota added to their lineup with Josh Donaldson. A lot of other teams have boosted their lineups and their rotations as well. So this stuff is going to come in handy. And so with that said, let's get down to the picks. Okay, let's start with the MVP, National League. Young stud player. I think he's going to be a perennial contender for MVP pretty much every year for the next decade. From the Atlanta Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr. He had a heck of a year last year. He's already a superstar at like 21 years old, and part of that young, dynamic lineup. With Freddie Freeman and Ozzie Albies, and I don't know if you heard, but they added Yasiel Puig today to that lineup. So once he gets going, that's going to be more firepower into that lineup with all these young stud players. And I think it's just going to serve Acuna well, and I think he's going to put up some serious stats even in a shortened season and put himself in a position to be an MVP on the offense and the defensive side and lead his team into the postseason. He's my National League MVP. American League, somebody who was in the National League last year, moved over to the American League, signed a 7-year, $245 million deal with the Anaheim Angels, Anthony Rendon. Could it be Trout? Of course. Could it be Shohei Ohtani? Absolutely. I think both of them are going to have great years, and I think Trout will have another, usual Trout-type year. But I think Anthony Rendon is going to benefit tremendously from being in that lineup, surrounded by Trout, Ohtani, even Joe Adell, and some of these other players in that lineup. I think he's going to come right in and perform, and it's going to be a perfect fit in that lineup. And for that reason, I think he's going to be an MVP, or the MVP for the American League in 2020. Now, Cy Young Award. Another guy who went to a new team last year and benefited from being surrounded by stud pitchers. Okay, Steven Strasburg and Max Scherzer. My Cy Young Award for 2020 is going to be Patrick Corbin from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Formerly the Diamondbacks of the Washington world champion Washington Nationals. I think he benefited tremendously from not having the pressure of being an ace, and he flipped right in behind Scherzer and Strasburg. Pitched really, really well. He was lights out in the postseason as well. And I think with those guys back, he's going to have a heck of a year. And with, Scherzer, he's got 2 years left, and he's kind of, he's getting up there in age. Corbin's going to come right in and step in and, hopefully fill in those shoes. And he's got, several more years of really, really good pitching. And again, with that lineup, even though they lost Rendon, they added a bunch of depth pieces, which I think is going to come in handy. They will be in contention again for postseason. But Corbin, I think, is going to be it's going to turn some heads this year. American League, I can't see it not being Garrett Cole. He had an outer-worldly year last year. I was surprised that Justin Verlander beat him out for Cy Young Award winner. But coming over to the Yankees, even though there might be a little bit of added pressure with us not having, or the Yankees not having, Domingo Germán and Luis Severino, he's dominant. He's filthy. I think he's going to be that way for several more years, and I hope he plays the portrait of good health like Justin Verlander and goes all through that 9-year contract, or most of it. in a dominant fashion. And it looks like he's already in mid-season form, and it's great too because he's showing leadership characteristics. He's helping the young pitchers. He's really, really smart and thoughtful as a player, as a person, and I think he's going to come in right in there. He'll break losing streaks. He'll come in and dominate, especially in a 60-game season where the arms aren't going to be almost falling off their shoulder at the end of the season. I mean, he's going to come in and rock. He's going to come in and rock. So, Garrett Cole from American League. Rookie of the Year. Nationally, there's a bunch of young guys who either are, going to be rookies this year, or who have the potential of being called up as high draft picks, and potentially being a Rookie of the Year. But with the addition of Mookie Betts to the Dodgers lineup, making that lineup much more well balanced, I think Gavin Lux is going to have so many opportunities, and without any pressure at all, being behind the rest of the guys in that lineup, I think he's going to have a perfect opportunity and capitalize on it and win the Rookie of the Year. I think he's going to have a great season, and he'll be an addition, a key piece to them going far in the postseason. American League, Chicago White Sox also boosted that lineup. They added Edwin Encarnacion. They added Yasmani Grandal. They added pitchers. But the one key move that they made, I think, was locking Luis Robert up early. Young stud player. And, what he's done already in summer camp, he's done some amazing things. But they locked him up to, I think it was a 6-year deal. And he's a budding superstar. He will be a superstar. I see him winning the American League Rookie of the Year pretty much hands down. I really do. Okay, I really do. Now, World Series favorites. Okay, I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. In the description down below, you'll see my 2020 predictions for standings for both leagues. So I'll give you a little bit of intel on that right now, just to share who's going to be my postseason teams and who's going to keep going further and further. But I encourage you to watch the whole video because you'll get some explanations why. But there's also a little caveat in this one too, and I think you'll find it interesting. So in the video, you'll see in the National League, I have the Phillies surprising people and winning the NL East, but only going 37-23. I don't see anybody winning 40 games in the NL East. NL Central, I have Cincinnati winning. And NL West, I have the Dodgers winning. It's going to be kind of usual for a little while. With Washington, Atlanta, and San Diego all having the same record, and the National League having 3 wild card teams. Okay, and meaning two teams are going to have to play because they're going to have a similar record. Well, they're all going to have identical records, but San Diego is going to have one of them is going to have a better record against each other. So they're going to be 2 teams to play for each other for the right to play for the wild card game to go into the playoffs. So it's going to be kind of funky, and the teams are going to go 34-26. San Diego, Washington, and Atlanta being the wild card teams. In the American League, I have Oakland winning the West. I have Minnesota winning the Central, just edging out the Chicago White Sox. And then I have the Yankees winning the East, with my wild card teams being Tampa Bay in second and Chicago White Sox in second. How is it laid out, the postseason? Well, National League, we've got Atlanta playing Washington for that 1-game playoff for the right to play San Diego. Okay, Atlanta is going to beat Washington, eliminate them, and then they're going to play San Diego, and they're going to eliminate San Diego too. And then I have the LA Dodgers beating the Philadelphia Phillies, and then Cincinnati eliminating the Atlanta Braves, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers eliminating the Cincinnati Reds in the National League Championship Series to get to the World Series. American League, I've got Tampa Bay and Chicago White Sox, obviously my wild cards. I've got the Yankees beating the Chicago White Sox in the divisional round. I got Minnesota eliminating Tampa Bay, and then I have the usual suspects, New York Yankees playing the Minnesota Twins, but instead of playing them in the first round, they're playing them in the championship series for the right to get to the World Series. Okay, and I have the Yankees eliminating the Minnesota Twins, making it a Yankees-Dodgers World Series. Okay, epic. 2 of the most balanced lineups, most potent lineups, with some dominant pitching, and it's going to be a World Series for ages. But as much as it pains me to say this, I think it's with the loss of Domingo Germán and Luis Severino, I think it's going to come back and bite the Yankees a little bit, and the Dodgers are going to beat them in 7 games. And it hurts me to say that as a Yankee fan. I just see the Dodgers. I just see it being the Dodgers year this year, but I do see the Yankees being favorites to win the World Series in 2021. Now, I'm going to say one thing. All the stuff I just gave you, this is video 1 of 2, okay? This is my pre-trade deadline predictions. Trade deadline is August 31st. Once the trade deadline happens and whoever makes what moves, because we got guys like Arenado can move, Francisco Lindor, and a bunch of other stud players, Chris Bryant. He might go to one of these teams. It might change the landscape a little bit. I'm going to do a post-trade deadline 2020 predictions as well. So this might change, and it might change significantly. So keep that in mind. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit that notification so you don't miss that video. Okay, and right now I'm putting out all my predictions for offense, for home runs, RBIs, and batting average. You'll see a couple down below. And I've got a bunch of pitching ones coming up. Wins, saves, ERA. They're all coming out every couple of days. So make sure you hit that notification so that you don't miss any of these videos. And I want to know what you think. If you enjoy them, hit the thumbs up. If you have different guys in mind, put them in the comments down below. I welcome all comments and feedback. I want this to become one of the best channels. And by clicking the subscribe button, it just helps me continue to improve the channel. If you enjoy the content, I want to continue putting out better content. I want to actually get some editing software so I can start plugging in a little, teams and logos and things like that. So I'm not there yet, but your support really helps me get to that point. So I thank you, and I thank my regulars as always. You guys are the best. So let me know what you think of this video. Be safe, look out for each other. Talk to you next time.